Yeah, just say the highlight.
Wait. Get somewhere, goddamn.
I'm trying to.
Hey YouTube, welcome to another unboxing. Highlight for today, got a really special 𝗕𝗓𝗄𝗎 meal. Actually got a couple of 𝗕𝗓𝗄𝗎 meals, and we got some caviar. I'm gonna start with giving a shout out to 𝗕𝗏𝗍𝗄𝗎 Caviar. He's like what we do, but with food. So he has all kinds of high-end foie gras and caviars and things of that nature, but he also makes his own caviar. He actually grows the fish. I don't know what's in here.
I think it's caviar.
𝗕𝗏𝗍 French macaroons,
Dibs.
black caviar. Oh, look at the spoons. You know what, guys? Let's get to some watches. Again, thank you so much, Michael from East Coast Jewelry, and thank you, Mark from 𝗕𝗏𝗍𝗄𝗎 Caviar.
Okay, so one person said that, well, they were just talking about the style competition between Alex and Nick.
It's actually,
it's not a competition.
It's a talk of the town.
It's not a competition.
Yeah, YouTube comments, I'm somehow blowing him away.
Anna lost half of her hoodie, so I don't know what happened to that.
Well, it was a 2-for-1 because she cut it in half and Colin ended up with a hoodie as well.
Okay.
Czapek.
This is Czapek.
Actually met their CEO over at Watch Time.
Yes.
He had a lot of cool things to say. And again, people thought when he revived this brand that it's going to go into the toilet like every other revival, quote unquote, which is usually the fate. But because the independent watchmakers today on such a rise, he became successful. And guess what? If you wanted to order one of these from them, you'd probably end up wait about a year because the demand far outweighs the supply. But aesthetically, overall, I think it's a pretty watch. I like
beautiful.
I like the large, what do you call it, registers for the chronograph. I like the way, here, if you can zoom in, I like the way the chronograph buttons sort of blend in. They don't really stick out. By adding, I guess, these crown guards in the middle, it all sort of becomes one big button. I do like that. And the oversized, again, the oversized registered are amazing. And if Marco was here, oh, look at the finish on a dial.
The finishing and the history behind, you know, Patek Philippe and Czapek.
Marco, you need to come back from Canada because me and Alex just ran out of things to say about this Czapek.
Yeah. In terms of value, it's actually a really strong value for the quality that you get. Yeah. Like compared to some watchmakers.
And it's like a crossbreed between dressy and sporty. Like it's a nice large size. It can be worn with a suit. It can be worn with a sweatsuit. And I really like the strap too, by the way. You guys know I've been preaching about Langes and I've been preaching about buying rare Langes because the brand is on an up and coming. I've seen it rise about 30 to 40% in some cases in certain models, and you know I'm a fan of going backwards. So some of the rarer stuff that's out there for Lange is going to be their stuff on the bracelet. They made so few watches on a bracelet that almost instantly take any Lange on a bracelet, it becomes a collectible. And for me, it also goes for this, and this is a very rare bird because it's a platinum Lange 1 on a bracelet, on a platinum bracelet. This sucker is heavy. Did you feel this?
Oh yeah. So
I mean, well, it's not that heavy.
But you're spot on though about the bracelet. I mean, if you see any Lange on a bracelet, it's automatically one of.
It's kind of an easy hint. Like Lange on a bracelet, just buy it because there were so few of them made, and today's day and age, there's no Langes on a bracelet minus the Odysseus if you think about it. So definitely excited about this buy, especially in platinum. The Lange 1's platinum with that gray dial. Go out and find one of those, period, even on a strap. Like we have a Grand Lange 1 on a strap in platinum, and guess what? I haven't seen one of those since the last one we bought in quite some time because, again, they made a lot less in platinum because the difference in retail was, if a regular Lange, again, don't quote me, back then was, let's say, $30,000, the platinum one was like $45,000.
Yeah, don't see many of these, too much.
RM67, and this is what we call...
Arguably the most comfortable.
I think it is the most comfortable. I mean, honestly, the 67s, 6701, 6702s are great. And what I like about this one specifically is the partial pavé. So for somebody that wants a little bit of bling, but not too much bling, this partial pavé is certainly the ticket. And I say that because it doesn't really look gaudy.
No.
Like if you look at it from afar, it makes a point, but it doesn't look gaudy. It's sort of like getting a Rolex. You don't go like the full-blown diamond bezel, diamond dial, or full pavé dial, but let's say you get diamond markers, or you get just a bezel. It's just, what do you guys call it?
It's a low-key flex.
Low-key flex, thank you. I was looking for that. So and it adds, I kind of like what it adds to the watch overall. It just makes the watch look,
it just
changes the whole overall look,
changes the whole
but it's not gaudy.
Exactly. It's right in the middle. It's like it's perfect.
Exactly. And
in terms of a diamond watch.
These are now, just under $200,000, so I hate to say it, relatively affordable when it comes to Richard Mille.
I mean, you're talking about a diamond factory set Richard Mille. I mean, for under $200,000.
Yeah. And again, I was always a fan of 6701s and 6702s, obviously, because they're extremely comfortable, because they're extremely wearable. They're not big, they tuck under a shirt, so
Perfect.
really cool.
Whoa.
Speaking of Richard Mille, it's no secret that Richard said that Franck Muller, he was inspired by Franck Muller when he made his watches, which is why everybody, when they first came out, everybody said, oh, it looks like Franck Muller. It is because he was inspired by Franck Muller. And I can't see what's going on here. Give me a second. This is the Skafander. Do you guys know what Skafander means in the Russian language? Anyone?
Absolutely not.
Scarf.
A helmet which would be used for space travel. So whatever. So it would be a space helmet, basically. That's what it means in Russian. I'm assuming this is what this is. Pretend. I've never seen one of these. This thing does look like a spaceship.
Yeah, speaking of space.
So obviously this is some sort of a GMT. I'm trying to figure out what this is, but maybe I will have Marco do a separate reel since he bought one of these. So this moves a minute at a time, where this moves 5 minutes at a time. You know what? I'm actually baffled. This is one of their newer models, and I don't know what this thing does, but it does look pretty damn cool. Got a little lock button functionality on there. If Marco, you on the live, comment what this thing does. Oh, an old sub.
Classic. All around good value. Vintage.
Been a lot of these neo-vintage subs that we've been buying over the years because the value is there, and there's also room for this stuff to go up. Say, oh, you know, I want to put my money into something that's going to be kind of safe, and I've always said that, you know, going backwards is always safe because they don't make these anymore. You know, condition is key, and at the end of the day, it's a safe bet to go back to the #1 selling brand in the world, arguably the second most popular model in the world, i.e. the Submariner. And you know, get something nice and good condition to put on your wrist that's extremely recognizable. People will know it's a Rolex, and you know, have the peace of mind that at least, I always say, money in the bank plus minus 20%, you're a winner in this industry, right? And we're kind of going back to that now with the market stabilizing. We have papers for an AP.
This is for a Perpetual.
Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual calendar. Again, a watch that has gone through the roof when the market was hot. Now that they've come back down to earth, we're happy to buy them back up because there's still a lot of demand on them. And how can you blame people? Automatic, 41 millimeters, beautiful dial. Actually, a very legible Perpetual calendar.
So which style do you prefer, this style or the newer style?
You're talking about the baby bluish one?
Yeah.
So it's a tough call. I feel like this one is more legible, right? But the baby blue is just beautiful.
No, yeah.
It's like it's a better look. But to sort of stay even more conservative, it'd probably be this style because that one tends to get a little louder. I feel.
It does. No.
But that one sells for more money too.
Yeah.
That one sells for more money. But guys, at the end of the day, you're getting one of the most iconic watches. You're getting a full-blown Perpetual calendar that's an automatic. I mean, value-wise, these are around 100 grand now, right? Yeah. Versus what, 180, 170 they were. Yeah. So certainly something that we're always happy to pick up. I'm gonna guess this is a Corm, so I'm gonna go to this Rolex.
It's been bamboozled. Oh.
Yeah. Yet another Pepsi. Again, Oyster or Jubilee?
Oyster. Unpopular.
Oyster or Jubilee, Anna? Both?
At the same time, or?
At the same time.
Okay.
Both options.
So like,
Nice.
I wonder if you can split the bracelet in half.
Imagine one.
Could.
No, because of the clasp.
We could probably start a new trend.
We'll start
do like
that.
A Jubilee on one end and an oyster on another. Whoever wore this watch obviously had a very small wrist.
What do you prefer, Roman? Jubilee or Oyster?
I don't have a preference, one to the other. It's like I get the one on the Oyster, oh my God, I love it. I get the one on the Jubilee, oh my God, I love it. But I will tell you this, I feel like the Oyster makes the watch sportier, the Jubilee makes the watch a little bit dressier.
What's more comfortable?
Oyster.
Oyster's gonna be more comfortable, you know, bigger links, flatter links, so I feel like it's more comfortable. But my whole thing is that I think that the Oyster, like I said, it makes it a lot more sporty, where the Jubilee dresses the watch up. Same goes for Bad Girl and Bad Girl, Batman and Bad Girl, etc., etc. Last but not least,
we should also talk about value on these.
where are they at now?
These are in the low 20s still.
Okay.
So right under 20, you could pick up like a used.
They've been hanging out in the low 20s they've stabilized there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've gone the highest for brand new stickered blah 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 example on a Jubilee over a little over 30,000, and they've come back down to low to mid 20s depending on the combination.
Not even. I mean, under 20 you could pick up like a Pepsi Jubilee now.
You can?
Yeah, all day.
All right. So what sells for more, Jubilee or Oyster?
Awesome. Thank you.
They're pretty hand in hand right now.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, this is not a little ladies' quorum.
Wow.
This is definitely not a ladies' quorum. I guys always promise you something special towards the end of my unboxings. So lo and behold, we have Anna. We have a baby Nadal 𝗕𝗏𝗏. This is the first Nadal tourbillon, we're now up to 04, right? We have 4 Nadal tourbillons now.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. We have 4 tourbillons. This is the original one. This is in the smaller case. They also made this in a non-tourbillon, which was known as the Baby Nadal, right? And this guy, boy, do I have a story to tell you about this guy. Now, market price on these hovers around $1 million now, a little more, depending on how complete and et cetera, and good luck finding one, because those that bought them around the time these came out will never sell them, because odds are they're into them for about 400 grand. And I'll explain. So when this first came out, it came out at the time where I was still buying Richard Milles at a discount. I had a client that 101 was a big Rafael Nadal fan. He's like, I want the tourbillon. The retail, if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on this, when the watch first came out was somewhere around the $600,000 mark, which was insane back then, right? Yeah. When I bought the watch, I don't remember what my cost was. I remember I sold it for like $470. So obviously I got it at a discount, sold it for $470. Probably, if I had to guess, I probably bought it for around $400, $420, right? Yeah. Watch comes in a sealed bag. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was like one of those sandwich bag sealer type of deals. Yeah. So it was on a pillow, like just a regular pillow, and then it was sealed in plastic. You know, this thing weighs nothing, right? That was the whole thing about this. It weighs absolutely nothing. Rafa was able to play tennis in it. It was able to withstand the force. I don't know what the exact force of Rafael Nadal's backhand is, but I would imagine if he slapped you with his backhand, it probably would hurt, right? So the force that's exerted onto the watch while doing this is extreme, and that's what this watch was all about. It was able to withstand those forces in a case that weighs around 12 grams, right? Like this thing weighs nothing, absolutely nothing. Oh my goodness.
Are you serious?
Bro.
With that said, I come into the office. Now this watch is brand new sealed, but sealed not like the Patek seals, just plastic and piece of foam that was over. I come in, and the office I walked into, this was our old office on Audemars, there was a rug in that office. So I come in and I go, oops, and I drop the watch. Arthur at the time turns pale. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, dude, I did this purposely. He's like, are you crazy? I'm like, this is a watch that withstands such a force. Dropping it onto a rug while it's still in plastic, knowing it's not gonna get scratched up, I'm like, I can slam it against the floor.
You're the only person.
I pick up the watch, and I was like, literally I said, I can slam this watch. I pick up the watch and I go, he's like, no, I was like, I'm not gonna slam it against the floor, but so I didn't do that, but I did drop it to the floor, and the watch was obviously perfectly fine. But that's my first story with this watch. Brings back a lot of memories, and guess what? For those that laughed at people that paid $400,000, $300,000, $700,000, $500,000 for some of these older Richard Milles back when they were still out there at a discount, you know, the guys that own them now have the last laugh, because I think in an auction environment, you put one of these into auction, it fetches way over $1 million. Easy. If you got dealers out there willing to pay $1 million plus for these, if you can find one. Like if somebody called me today and said, hey Roman, get me a Baby Nadal, I'd be like, yeah, sure, hold on. Let me pull one out of my ass, basically, because they're impossible to find.
50.
You know what I mean? Like this is the quintessential high complication Richard Mille. Like I always told you guys, my favorite complication from AP is the 𝗕𝗏𝗏 concept, right? They made 121. So, yeah, if you asked me about Richard Mille and you said, hey, what's the complication that you want from Richard Mille, it would be this. It would be the first Rafael Nadal. So, guys, with that said, I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. Yeah, so we're gonna end this unboxing because Anna wants to sell some watches. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, thank you to Michael from East Coast and Mark at 𝗕𝗏𝗏 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏. I will see you guys on the next one.